Hello students, today we are going to discuss the last chapter 5 of the famous story The Key by Satyajit Ray. And yes, this is the moment that we all have been eagerly waiting for. Today in this chapter we are going to unravel this mystery related to this cryptic word, the key. But before delving into this mystery, let's have a quick look at the story so far. So what has happened in the last chapter 4? In that chapter, Mr. Samadar urgently informs Feluda about a break-in at his uncle's room. The intruder enters through a bolted bathroom despite the room being locked, and there is something strange that happens. Nothing is stolen, and suspicions arise particularly about Dharani, who is Radharaman's estranged grandson. Feluda shows something, that is, he shows a photograph of Sanjay Lahiri which is altered to resemble Surajit Dasgupta, the alleged collector. Mr. Samadar is actually struck by this resemblance and suggests a possible disguise. Feluda finally contacts Minerva Hotel and confirms Dasgupta's recent stay there. They also verify that Sanjay Lahiri's theatre group is out of town. Feluda further inspects Radharaman's house, identifies the intruder's entry point and also arranges police guards. He finally examines the German-made melody, which is an essential clue to solving this mystery. He finally contacts the heart specialist who has attended Radharaman and also calls the Eureka Press. He finally reaches out to Mr. Samadar and plans to return to Bamangachi for further investigation, hinting that melody is actually crucial to solving this mystery. So this is what all has happened in chapter 4, and now we are going to unravel the mystery in chapter 5 today. The tension in this scene builds as Feluda, with his usual calm and methodical approach, prepares to reveal the truth behind the mystery. He explains that Radharaman's last words refer to the keys of the melody, a musical instrument. There was no one at the main gate of Radharaman's house. Perhaps it's not yet time for those police constables to have arrived, Feluda remarked. We found Sadhan in the garden with his air gun. Why Sadhan Babu? What are you killing in the dark? Feluda asked him, getting out of the car. The sound of a car had brought Anukul to the front door. Mr. Samadar told him to light a lantern and began unlocking the German lock. I'm dying to learn how you solved the mystery, he said. I could understand his feelings, for Feluda hadn't uttered a single word in the car. I, too, was bursting with curiosity. Feluda refused to break his silence. Without a word, he stepped into the room and switched on a powerful torch. It shone first on the wall, then fell on the melody, still resting peacefully on the small table. My heart began to beat faster. The white keys of the instrument gleamed in the light, making it seem as though it was grinning from ear to ear. Feluda did not move his arm. Mr. Samadar lunges at the melody, strikes Feluda on the head with it, knocking Tapesh over. Mr. Samadar locks the door and escapes, while Feluda and Tapesh try to break out of the room. Keys, he said softly. Look at those keys. Radharaman didn't mean a lock and a key at all. He meant the keys of an instrument like a piano, or... At Feluda's words, Mr. Samadar suddenly sprang in the air and pounced upon the melody like a hungry tiger on its prey. Then he picked it up, struck at Feluda's head with it, knocked me over and ran out of the door. By the time Feluda and Topshe reach the front door, the car is gone, but someone is left sitting on the driveway. Feluda had managed to raise his arms in the nick of time to protect his head. As a result, his arms took the blow, making him drop the torch and fall on the bed in pain. As I scrambled to my feet, I heard Mr. Samadar locking the door behind him. Even so, I rushed forward to try and push it with my shoulder. Then I heard Feluda whisper, "Bathroom." I picked up the torch quickly and we both sped out of the small bathroom door. There was a sound of a car starting, followed by a bang. A confused babble greeted us as we emerged. I could hear Anukul shouting in dismay and Abani Sen speaking to his son very crossly. By the time we reached the front door, the car had gone, but there was someone sitting on the driveway. Mr. Sen scolds Sadhan, but Sadhan justifies his actions, saying, "Mr. Samadar is trying to steal Dadu's instrument." Feluda praises Sadhan for injuring the culprit. Feluda and Anukul help Mr. Samadar, who has been injured by a pellet from Sadhan's air gun. "What have you done, Sadhan?" Mr. Sen was still scolding his son furiously. "Why did you do that? It was wrong, utterly wrong." Sadhan made a spirited reply in his thin, childish voice. "What could I do? He was trying to run away with Dadu's instrument." "He is quite right, Mr. Sen," Feluda said, panting a little. "He has done us a big favor by injuring the culprit, though in the future he must learn to use his air gun more carefully." Then he walked over to the figure sitting on the driveway and together with Anukul helped him to his feet. Mr. Samadar allowed himself to be half pushed and half dragged back into the house without making any protest. A pellet from Sadhan's air gun had hit one corner of his forehead. The wound was still bleeding. Feluda, Mr. Sen, Inspector Dinesh Goi, and Tapesh sit in Radharaman's bedroom drinking tea, while Moni Mohan Samadar, the culprit, is present. Feluda reveals how he has uncovered the truth behind the mystery, explaining his deductions and how he solved the case. The melocord was still lying where it had fallen on the cobbled path. I picked it up carefully and took it back to the house. Feluda, Mr. Sen, Inspector Dinesh Goi from the Barasat police station, and I was sitting in Radharaman's bedroom drinking tea. A man, possibly a constable, stood at the door. Another sat huddled in a chair. This was our culprit, Moni Mohan Samadar. The wound on his forehead was now dressed. Sadhan was also in the room, standing at the window and staring out. On a table in front of us was the melocord. Feluda cleared his throat. He was now going to tell us how he had learnt the truth. His watch was broken and one of his arms was badly scrapped. He had found a bottle of Dettol in the bathroom and dabbed his arm with it. Then he had tied a handkerchief around his arm. Feluda becomes suspicious of Moni Mohan after he claims to have worked late on Monday. He learns from a friend that power cuts in the area would have made working late impossible. I started to suspect Moni Mohan only from this afternoon. Something he told me about working late on Monday first made me suspicious. He said he got very late on Monday evening because he had to work overtime. This was odd since a friend of mine lives in the same area where his press is, and I have heard him complain that they have long power cuts, always starting in the evening and lasting until quite late at night. Feluda learns from Eureka Press that Moni Mohan has left early on Monday due to power cuts, raising suspicions about his alibi and Radharaman's true last words. So I rang the Eureka Press and was told that no work had been done on Monday evening because of prolonged load shedding. Moni Babu himself had left the press in the afternoon and no one had seen him return. This made me wonder if a man who had told me one lie hadn't also told me another. What if Radharaman's last words were different from what I had been led to believe? Feluda learns from Dr. Chintamani Bose that Radharaman's actual last words are "Dharani in my name, ki, ki." I rang Dr. Chintamani Bose and learnt that what Radharaman had really said was, Dharani, in my name, key, key. It was Dharani's name that Moni Babu had failed to mention. Dharani was, after all, Radharaman's only grandchild. So it was only natural that he should try to tell his grandson and not his nephew the secret about his money. I don't think he had even recognized his nephew. Nevertheless, it was his nephew who heard his last words. Moni Mohan, unable to find the key to Radharaman's hidden money, seeks Feluda's help, planning to steal it once discovered. He could make out that Radharaman was talking about his hidden money, but he couldn't find a key anywhere, so he decided to come to me, the idea being that I would find out where the key was and Moni Babu would grab all the money. Nobody knew if there was a will. If a will could not be found, everything Radharaman possessed would have gone directly to Dharani. In any case, I doubt very much if Radharaman would have considered leaving anything to his nephew. It is my belief that he wasn't particularly fond of Moni Babu. Feluda stopped. No one spoke. After a brief pause, he continued. Now the question was, why did Moni Babu lie to me about working late on Monday? Was it because he spent Monday evening indulging in some criminal activity, which meant that he needed an alibi? Moni Mohan, knowing the key means the melochord, uses his access to steal it, seeking the hidden treasure. Radharaman's room was broken into that same evening. Could the intruder have been Moni Babu himself? The more I thought about it, the more likely did it seem. He was the only one who could use the combination lock, go into the room, unbolt the bathroom door, then come out again and lock the main door to the bedroom. That small bathroom door was most definitely bolted from inside when I saw it during the day. No cleaner could have come in after we left, since it's not being used at all. I suspect Moni Babu had worked out what his uncle had meant by the word key, so he had come back in the middle of the night to steal the melochord. Am I right? With Sadhan's hint about melody in names, Feluda deciphers Radharaman's hidden message. All of us turned to look at Mr. Samadar. He nodded without lifting his head. Feluda went on. Even if Moni Babu could get away with stealing the melochord, I am positive he could never have decoded the rest of Radharaman's message. I stumbled on the answer only this evening, and for that, too, I have to thank little Sadhan. We looked at Sadhan in surprise. He turned his head and stared at Feluda solemnly. Sadhan, Feluda said, tell us once again what your Dadu said about music and people's names. Those who have melody in their names, Sadhan whispered, are bound to have melody in their voices. Thank you. This is merely an example of Radharaman's extraordinary intelligence. Feluda connects names to musical notes. Sadhan's name, Sadhan Sen, when vowels are removed, corresponds to the notes from the sargam, Sadha Nisa Ni. Similarly, Radharaman's name, Re Dha Re Mani, also matches musical notes. Radharaman's grandchild, Dharani, is a singer, further linking the clues to melody. Those who have melody in their names, he said. All right, let's take a name. Take Sadhan, for instance, Sadhan Sen. If you take away some of the vowels, you get notes from the sargam, Sadha Nisa Ni. When I realized this, a new idea struck me. His last words were, in my name, key. Could he have meant the keys on the melochord that corresponded with his own name, Radharaman, Re Dha Re Mani, Samadar, Samadha Dha Re? Dharnidhar was a singer too, and he had melody in his name as well, Dhare Ni Dhare. What a very clever idea it was, simple yet ingenious. Feluda explains that Radharaman's interest in gadgets like the German combination lock and the melochord has led him to use the melochord as a bank, likely custom designed by him through the company Spiegler. Feluda also reflects that Surajit Das Gupta is not involved in the mystery. Radharaman was interested in mechanical gadgets. The German combination lock is an example. The melodic was also made in Germany by a company called Spiegler. It was made to order, possibly based on specifications supplied by Radharaman himself. It acted as his bank. Thank goodness, Surajit Das Gupta had not walked away with it, although I'm sure Radharaman would have emptied its contents before handing it over. Maybe he knew he didn't have long to live. I learned two other things. Surajit Das Gupta is a genuine musician, absolutely passionate about music and instruments. The few books on music I have read in the last 2 days mentioned his name. Feluda also realizes his earlier suspicion about Dharni being involved is wrong, as Dharni is far away in Jalpaiguri, unaware of the events. I was quite mistaken in thinking it was Dharni in disguise. Dharni is truly away in Jalpaiguri. He hasn't the slightest idea of what's going on. What we have to do now is see if there is anything left for him to inherit. He wants to form his own group according to an interview published in Manchalok. So, I'm sure a windfall would be most welcome. Topshe, bring that lantern here. I picked up the lantern and brought it closer to the melodic. Feluda presses the keys of the melodic corresponding to Radharaman's full name, and with each key, a sweet note rings out. When the final key is pressed, the right panel slides open to reveal a hidden compartment filled with bundles of 100-rupee notes, uncovering Radharaman's concealed money. Everyone is left in awe. Feluda placed it on his lap. It has had to put up with some rough handling today, he said, but it was designed so well that I don't think it was damaged in any way. Now let's see what Radharaman's brain and German craftsmanship has produced. Feluda began pressing the keys that made up Radharaman's full name. Re dha re ma nisa, ma dha dha re. A sweet note rang out with the pressing of every key. As Feluda pressed the last one, the right panel slid open silently. We leaned over the instrument eagerly to find that there was a deep compartment behind this panel, lined with red velvet and packed with bundles of 100-rupee notes. Sheer amazement turned us into statues for a few moments. Then Feluda began pulling out the bundles gently. I think we have at least 50,000 here, he said. Come on, Mr. Sen, help me count it. So that is indeed a fascinating conclusion to this mystery. Now let's analyze the elements of mystery that we can identify in this particular story, namely intriguing plot, well-developed characters, setting that enhances suspense, and finally gradual revelation of clues. We'll take each in detail now. First of all, if we talk about the plot, Radharaman Samadar's cryptic last words, "In my name key," actually spark a thrilling investigation. Then Moni Babu believes that the key is the key to a hidden family fortune. Finally, the story involves an antique collection, a suspicious death, and also enigmatic characters. Multiple suspects and motives actually deepen the mystery, keeping the readers engaged. Moving on to well-developed characters, the narrative actually features a compelling cast. First of all, Feluda, who is the chief protagonist of the story. He is the sharp detective who leads the investigation with keen observational and intellectual skills. Then we have Moni Mohan Samadar, the anxious client who adds emotional depth to this mystery story. Then Radharaman Samadar, though he is dead, he remains central with his antique collection and obsession with Sanjay Lahiri. Then we also have Dharnidhar, who is the estranged grandson, remains a mysterious figure. Surajit Das Gupta, whose suspicious interaction with Radharaman also raises some questions. Finally, we have supporting characters like Abani Sen, Sadhan and the servant Anukul, who further complicate the plot. Now talking about setting that enhances suspense. Most of the action takes place inside the house, which is adding to the suspense because it is filled with antique musical instruments. The house itself actually becomes a character, and the atmosphere of hidden wealth, broken trust, and family tensions is the perfect backdrop for a classic mystery. Finally, the last but not the least, gradual revelation of clues. The story unveils clues, deepening the mystery from Radharaman's last words to his connection with Sanjay Lahiri. The key actually misleads the characters and also the readers, leading them towards various possibilities related to this word, the key. The melody, which is the chief clue and helps in unraveling the mystery, is also unraveled slowly and steadily. Then the melody is tampered with and it is also expected to be stolen. This is also a clue that is being revealed slowly. These revelations add complexity, keeping readers engaged as finally Feluda connects this instrument to the hidden wealth and the crime. Feluda discovers the melody hides a compartment with a vital clue tying back to Radharaman's cryptic words. So students, what started as an investigation into the cryptic words of the dying man actually leads us to a journey of codes, cheat and final justice. I hope students you really enjoyed this mystery story, and now I am leaving you with a very interesting and mysterious task related to this story. So complete this task and enjoy reading such stories and keep exploring and keep brainstorming the ideas behind mystery stories. Thank you. Have a great day.